So here we have an overview of ethnicity and DA, focusing on the external or outside school factors. So when we're looking at ethnicity, this is characteristic or characterized by a particular ethnic group who share a race, religion, history, culture, and language. This is a preferable term to use compared to race, which is quite specific, and ethnicity covers a range of elements and features of their lives. The ethnic majority is the largest group in society. The ethnic minority are the smaller groups in society. And groups is key there because ethnic minorities are not a homogenous group. They're not one group. They're a combination of different ethnicities and backgrounds. It's quite a diverse group of people. So again, we need to be conscious that we don't just use the word ethnic minorities as a kind of cover-all term. We have to be specific. With that in mind, the questions phrasing is crucial. So watch out for phrases like achievement levels of high and low, under or overachievement, ethnic groups, which will cover all ethnicities, ethnic majority, or ethnic minority. So just be conscious of what the question is asking. Now, just as I said, ethnicity is very diverse, as we've got here on this data from gov.uk, showing the students getting strong pass grades or 5 and above in English and maths. And you can see there's quite a diversity of achievement levels. Particularly, the higher achievers here would be Indian and Chinese and sort of other Asian. There's a combination there. White Irish, all doing relatively well as ethnic groups. Underachievers or lower end of achievers, we've got Pakistani, Black Caribbean. We have white groups, which are quite low. And then we've got Gypsy, Roma and the Irish traveller communities. These are the lower end of achievement. So when talking about ethnicity, it's just being conscious of what the statistics and what the facts show. Obviously, with this also as well, we need to be conscious that multi-causal factors and multifaceted factors have a role to play. So there's lots of reasons why we see these results, and it isn't just limited to ethnicity. So class, gender, all the other factors have a role to play. Now, previously we've looked at material factors for social class, and the same general themes and ideas carry over. So material deprivation and economic capital. We can look at factors like diet, housing, and financial costs of education, all the same as we did in social class. But we don't want to just describe these and apply them. We just need to be conscious that these will have a role to play, particularly if we look at the work of Palmer. So Palmer highlights that children from most ethnic minority groups are likely to suffer material deprivation, and she finds these facts that half of all ethnic minority children live in low-income households compared to a quarter of white children. Employment rates are higher, income rates are lower. So obviously we do need to be conscious of material factors. The evaluation for Palmer is, although social class material factors are important, it would appear that even those in ethnic minority groups that are materially deprived still achieve better than white students who are not deprived. So material factors are not the only thing affecting ethnic minority groups, and actually when it comes to achievement, ethnic minority groups are still doing better than those who are not materially deprived. So money isn't the key factor here, and it probably suggests cultural factors are more important. Now, the cultural factors here, there's quite a few of them. Now, Lupton has a lot to contribute here, and I've combined both elements of their study into one. So they looked at parental discipline. The key thing they found was that Chinese and Indian parents are more likely to use discipline structures similar to school. Because of this, the children behave better in school, they're more likely to be supportive of disciplinary processes, and they kind of relate better to school. Working class children, white working class children, have the opposite effect. Poorer levels of parenting discipline, and it causes negative interactions with school. Sewell talked about lack of male role models, particularly in his argument that black families are likely to come from single parent backgrounds. They're more likely to be female led. Boys lack role models, and therefore they're more likely to be drawn into subcultures, peer pressure, and that can bring them into contradiction to education. Brereton Engelman also talked about linguistic skills. Now again, this is 1966, probably likely to have changed, particularly because this was America as well. But they also argued that low income black families tend to lack the resources to develop intellectual stimulation. Now again, this does overlap with material factors because it's the lack of money to buy resources. And then last but not least, we have racism in wider society. So Rex talks about poor housing, and due to racial discrimination of housing officers in 1986, ethnic minority families are put into much more substandard or low low suitability accommodation. This leads to poor health, low attendance, being in deprived areas, more likely to go to sink schools. So again, it does overlap with material. Wood talked about discrimination in employment, and they sent 3 CVs to 1,000 job vacancies. 1 from what would be a white candidate, 2 from an ethnic minority candidate. And what they found in terms of response rate was that the ethnic minority candidates, the 2 of them, had about a 6% return on the, in this case, 2,000 applications. For the white candidate, it was 9%, so much higher response for the white candidate. And then obviously a similar article was looking at the names of applicants on interviews and CVs, and they found a very similar process quite recently going on here. So these are the external factors that cause a difference when it comes to ethnicity and achievement. Thanks for watching.